Hello everyone, welcome back to Diksha Karnataka YouTube channel. I hope everyone is doing well. So today I have brought you a new series, how to read NCERT Physics. Okay, so NCERT Physics, as we all know, is the most important book for our board as well as many competitive examination across different parts of India. Okay, so let's move on and check what are the all important points before we can proceed. Today we will going to discuss in detail about how you can study NCERT book. Okay, how we can study NCERT book, how effectively we can study from there, so that it will not only help us to complete our board, as well as how we can take help from that book for our competitive examination as well. As we are all know that after your 12th you are going to appear for many competitive examination to secure your future in a good college. So today we are going to discuss in depth how you can effectively study from NCERT book, and trust me, whatever is there in NCERT book is more than sufficient for you to score good marks. Yes, in some cases other reference books are needed, for example JEE mains, JEE advanced exam, but mostly if you study from NCERT, your 80% of JEE mains as well as JEE advanced and NEET will be covered, basics will be covered. So if you are someone who is struggling to understand NCERT, or if you are feeling bored with NCERT book, then please take a pen and note down how to study from NCERT book. So first point, all Indian boards follow NCERT book, okay, for final board exam, be it any CBSE, be it PU board, be it any other state board, they all follow NCERT. Okay, maybe now not direct NCERT, the derivative of that or a translated version of that, but NCERT is the basic book. So almost all Indian boards follow NCERT. Next, the stepping stone for all the competitive examination in India is NCERT. So stepping stone means the starting point. NCERT should be your first book that you study. Many students ignore NCERT, I have seen that, but you should not do that, because it is the stepping stone for all the competitive examination in India. Now, experts from different parts of the country, they sat together, they discussed with themselves to write this book. Okay, so they have collaborated to write this book. So all the different parts of India, they suppose something a specific way is being taught in some other state, which is maybe not done in southern states. So northern part of the India, maybe something is taught in a different way, and in southern part something is taught in a different way. So they sit together, they discussed, okay, this is the best way to teach in both parts. So that's how this book is created. So all the experts, for example, the chief advisor for science physics book is J.V. Narlikar. J.V. Narlikar is one of the prominent Indian scientists. Okay, so they are sitting together, they are discussing among themselves, and they are writing this book. So this book is going to be very effective for you if you study from there. Now this is the first book you should study. So before opening your reference book, before opening your guidebook, before opening your any other book, first book that you should study is the NCERT book. Now let us look into different parts of the book and how you can get benefited from these different parts of the book. Okay. Now the first part of the book is content list. Content list, when you open the book, you go through the pages. Okay, first our constitution is there. Once you go through those pages, and then introduction of written by the authors, then you land on this kind of thing, content list. What is the content list consist of? Content list gives you the name of the chapter. Okay, electric charges and field. I have taken second year chapter, first chapter, electric charges and fields. Then it gives you the detailed parts that is going to be covered in that chapter. Okay, detailed parts given in the chapter, what are else to be covered in the chapter. So everything is given here. Okay, now how you can effectively use this content list? Content list, everyone thinks, okay, this is a content list, I will skip. This can be effectively used for your benefit. So for example, if you are studying suppose today you are studying electric charges and fields, okay, and you have studied introduction, you have studied electric charges, you have studied conductor and insulators. Okay. Now, you have completed these 3 parts, then you mark them that I have completed. Later on in future, suppose you are opening that book again and you are wondering where I have left or from where I have to study, you can see in the content, okay, I have studied up to this part and next part I have to study. Similarly, if you think this part I am having difficulty, you mark that I am having difficulty in this part, you mark that part, but I am not able to understand this part. So, you mark that part, you get that part sorted with your teacher, okay, you get that part sorted with us, whoever you think, okay, can be able to explain me this part, you can mark that part. Also, this helps during your revision, okay, when you are revising the chapter, when you are revising the entire chapter, you mark with a different pen or with a different style to mark them again. Okay. So, while you are revising, you have to revise everything. So, suppose you have not revised this part, you have only revised this part, forces between multiple charges, I do not want to study now, I will study later. So, you skip that part. So, when you are coming back again, okay, I have left this part, I will revise it again and you mark it. So, when you completed the chapter, everything should be marked, everything should be marked, okay, my chapter is done. So, everything is marked, I tick it. Okay. Similarly, while revising, you have to mark these things again. So, this will not only help you to understand what all the concepts covered in the chapter, also while studying, if you mark them, okay, it will help you to revise later. Okay, it will help you to revise later. Similarly, when you find some question, you find some question which may be using a term called Gauss's law. Where is Gauss's law? Which chapter I will go back to find this concept. So, you can open the index and then you find, okay, in the chapter 1 Gauss's law is mentioned. So, this the page number 29 Gauss's law should be there. So, you can find it from there also. Okay. So, this is the effective way to use the content list. So, do not ignore the content list as well, it is also a very useful part when you are studying properly. When you open the chapter, first part that you see is the introduction. Introduction is basically where a basic introduction about the chapter is given to you. It can be given about the concepts that we are going to study in the chapter, or it can be some common examples that happening because of the events that we are going to study in the chapter. For example, in this chapter electrostatic charges and fields, for example, in this part it is given as hearing crackle when you take off your synthetic clothes, okay, or sweater, particularly in dry weather. So, in a dry weather, when you remove your sweater, you hear a crackling sound. That sound actually comes from the electric charges that is formed due to the rubbing of your body and the sweater. So, this is an example they have given. Now, based on that, they have build up the concepts, and the last they have mentioned this electrostatics deals with this study of forces. So, basically they have given you a basic introduction about the chapter. In some cases these are important, in some cases they are not so important, but I suggest you should read this introduction at least once. When you are studying the chapter for the first time, you should read this introduction for once, at least one time you should read this introduction. Next part is topic. So, what is a topic? Topic where main content starts, okay, main concept starts, okay. So, conductors and insulators is a topic number 1.3. So, this is the chapter number. If you see the content list, so you have seen that there are some number mentioned 1.1, 1.2, 1.3. So, conductors and insulator is 1.3. So, what they have discussed in there, they have discussed about what are the conductors. So, different part, who are all conductors, who are all insulators. So, what you have to do here, you have to find, so this is given as a paragraph, okay, if this is given as a paragraph. So, you have to find where the definition of conductors are given, where the definitions of insulators are given, you mark that, okay. So, for example, most of the non-metals like glass, porcelain, plastic, nylon, wood, after the resistance to passes through, they are called insulators. So, here you can mark this as insulators, okay. For example, those which allow electricity to pass through them are called conductors. So, you can mark this as a conductor. So, you have to do this part yourself. There is one thing that you have to do while studying. okay, while studying you have to mark this. So, later on when you are going back, okay, these are the important thing, this is the conductors, okay, these are the insulators. So, you can go back and you can find where the definition of conductor is given, where the definition of insulators is given. Also, you have to study the entire part completely to understand if any conceptual question coming from this part, maybe MCQ questions for your board exam, maybe MCQ questions for KCET or JEE, okay, you will be able to answer them. While doing the chapter in detail, I will explain with examples how questions are coming from NCERT, how questions are directly coming from NCERT. Okay. Next, next is subtopic. So, subtopic is where a topic is basically divided into a subtopic. For example, basic properties of electric and charge, this is the this is the topic. Okay, now under this 1.4.1 additivity of charges is a subtopic. Now, for example, basic properties of electric charges, we know this is a very common question coming in exam, that write 3 basic properties of electric charges. So, in that case each subtopic is a property, each subtopic is a property, additivity of charges, quantization of charges, okay, you have to mark them. Okay, when in the exam these questions are asked, you have to only answer this, okay, additivity of charges, quantization of charges, okay. So, these are the things that you have to note down, okay, in your notebook while studying. These are the points that you have to note down. Now, the explanation part is also given, which is also very important. Explanation part is given, that is also very important, you cannot ignore that, okay. So, when the part is explained, maybe in your board exam this part is sufficient, but for competitive exam this part is not sufficient. They will ask you question based on the inner meanings of that, then you have to study these parts in detail. Next is solved example. Solved example, each chapter has multiple solved examples, solved numerical examples, okay. So, if you are studying that chapter properly, you have to go through this solved example, do not ignore these solved examples. These solved examples are very important, maybe for your board, maybe for competitive, okay. Sometimes this question is very common question, okay, multiple times asked, not exact values, they have changed the values, but they will ask you the similar question, okay, they will ask you similar question with changed value, or maybe some language they will change, but the answer of the question will remain same, okay, only the values whatever is given you have to put that, and the answer will be same, the process will be same. So, you have to understand that they are asking questions directly from solved examples as well. So, these are all the main part of the chapter, these are all main part of the chapter. Now, let us move on. Now, this is the summary. So, summary is where everything is mentioned in a concise way, everything is mentioned in a concise way. For example, properties of charges are mentioned, quantization, additivity and conservation, okay. So, these are the properties of charges. So, when you are studying this summary, basically it is a kind of revision for you. So, when the question comes, write 3 basic properties of electricity, then you have electric charges, then you have to mention the properties of basic charges are quantized, charges are quantized, charges are additive in nature and charges are conservative. So, basically the everything that you need is given in the summary. It is a very helpful tool, helpful resource just before exam. You have maybe one day before exam and you want to revise the entire thing. This is a very useful way to revise the entire chapter, okay. So, you can revise the entire chapter in like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, okay. Just you need to remember this, what are the points given in there. There you have very important part, okay. This is a very important part of the book. Summary, do not ignore summary. Summary are very important. First time when you are studying, you read through this once. Once you have completed the chapter, you have idea of everything. Before exam you want to revise, this is a part from where you should revise. Next part is points to ponder. It is also given after summary, points to ponder. What is this, the meaning of this? Points to ponder is a part where any misconception that you have, that may be because of your previous knowledge, okay, or sometimes we don't give you the entire detail in your previous classes. So, those parts that is creating some confusion, some misunderstanding, some problems in your mind, those are discussed here. those are discussed in this part. For example, we know that two charges, okay, two charges when they are separated by a small distance, their force is very high, because it is inversely proportional to the square of the distance. So, two charges when they are kept very close, it is very high, the force is almost very high. Okay, so they, for example, the nucleus, we know nucleus has many positive charges, right, many positive charges, that is protons. Now, inside the nucleus, size of the nucleus is also very small. So, basically you can consider the distance between two charges is very small. So, the Coulombian repulsive force should break the nucleus in an instant, but that is not happening. How the nucleus is stable? Because there is another force, okay, there is another fundamental force called strong nuclear force. Strong nuclear force, that force is actually holding the nucleus together, that is much stronger than Coulomb force. So, these kind of misconception, these kinds of clearance where you have doubt, okay, you are wondering why nucleus is stable, because even though there is a Coulombian repulsive force. So, those kind of explanations, those kind of small tidbits are given in this points to ponder part. Now, this part is very important, okay, it will not only help you to clear your doubts, but also it will help you to some objective questions come from this part as well. So, do not ignore the points to ponder, this is very helpful. That before exam, before any competitive exam, you must study summary, you must study points to ponder. These parts are must before any competitive exam. Another very important part is dimension table. Okay, you know that every competitive exam, every board exam, they will ask what is the dimension of electric field, what is the dimension of dipole moment, what is the dimension of this. So, here there are ways to remember that, okay, there are, you can calculate that, you can find that, but if you are studying these dimensions, dimension table, okay, and if you remember their units, okay, what are the units for that, okay, for each quantity, this will help you to remember things better, write the answers better. Okay. So, you have seen this charge density, linear charge density is L inverse TA. So, you remember this, then it will be helpful for you. Similarly, surface is -2, volume is -3, rest are same. So, if you remember this, then you do not need to think, because in the question, in the exam, time is very important, saving time is very important. If you can answer such questions without much thinking, then it will save you some time. So, basically what we are doing, dimension tables is helping us to remember the dimensions. The dimension table is helping us to remember the dimension, and it is preparing us for the competitive examination as well. Next is exercise, the most important part of the chapter once you completed the chapter. Okay, once the chapter is completed, this is must to solve all the exercise problems. Maybe it easy, maybe it's hard, you solve all the exercise problems. Okay, we will bring you a complete new series where we will discuss each and every exercise questions given in NCERT book. So, if you have not yet, please subscribe to our channel, click on the bell icon, so that you stay updated on all the new videos that we are bringing to you, new lectures that we are bringing to you. And also, if you like this video, don't forget to click on the thumbs up icon. Exercises are also very important. This will develop your mental understanding, your intelligence level, okay, so that when similar questions comes in your board exam, in your competitive exam, okay, that you can answer in quickly. Okay. So, exercises are also very important. So, do not ignore exercises whenever you are doing first time attempt yourself. Okay. Next, once you have done, whatever doubts, whatever questions you have, you can check through our channel or ask your teachers. Okay, this is the problem that I have difficulty in understanding, or this is the problem where I have difficulty answering the question. I understood the problem, but I am not able to answer this question because of some reason. So, you can ask your teacher, you can ask us as well, or you can go through our series when it is available. So, that is also very important. In some chapters you will find this kind of blue boxes. Okay, this kind of blue boxes. I have taken the example of triple point. Okay, so these blue boxes are for your knowledge, for your extra information. Okay, these blue boxes are not important for your exam. It is mentioned in their first part of the book that Occasionally, historical perspective has been included to share the excitement of the sequential development of the subject physics. Some boxed items are introduced in many chapters either for this or the purpose to highlight some special feature, okay, of the contents requiring additional attention of the learners. These parts are not important for your exam. Okay, these parts are not important for your exam. No questions has ever come from these blue boxes, but this is very important. This is good to have knowledge if you are studying. For example, if you are studying kinetic theory, then this triple point part is very important, where all three states of matter are in equilibrium. Very interesting. Okay, so if you study, these are not important for your board exam, but this is very interesting for your knowledge. Next, last part, in this is all appendix and answers. Answers is available for at the end of the book. All the books have different part given dedicatedly for answers. Now, appendix is given only class 11 first book. Class 11 first book is given appendix. Okay, that is PU1 for Karnataka PU board students. For any other boards, class 11th first book, book 1. At the end of the book 1, you will find this appendix. Okay, appendices. Appendices is basically, what is the meaning of the appendices? Appendices is where some extra information, information is given in form of a extra table. For example, I have taken one part of the appendix. There is a lot of part there in the appendix. That's why it is appendices. Okay. Some mathematical formulas are given, some equations are given. Okay, for example, here physical quantity, their name, okay, their symbol, okay, expression in SI units, everything is given. So this is a kind of a broader summary. This is a broader summary. Okay, you have time, say 2 hours or 3 hours. You can go through the appendices itself, and that will also be very helpful for you. So appendices is where all the information given in a single place. So you should look into that part also. Go back to your first PU, first year first book, and at the end of that book find these appendices and see what all are there. Okay, I hope it will be helpful for you as well, because it is also very important. So now, if you have liked our video, don't forget to share with your friends and click on the bell icon, so that whenever we are uploading new videos, you don't miss out on the updates. Thank you.